Good evening. Welcome to Newscope again. I'm Patrick Muldowney. Well, we're back again after a 1-hour break. We were on the air today for more than 10 hours, bringing you Chicago's information on what was happening in the city and the surrounding area. We used the facilities of the Chicago Daily News and the Chicago Sun-Times, as well as Channel 32's own facilities, and the facility of ham radio station WA9 RTP with Jim Roper and Dick Cox at the controls. We'll have a report from them later in Newscope. Here in the Chicago area, we tend to think of this as our storm. Actually, it hit most of the state and even neighboring states. For our regional weather report, we go to Harlan Drager in the city room of the Chicago Daily News.
The snowstorm that slammed into Chicago's midsection has left a wide surrounding area in a state of near paralysis. For suburbanites as well as city residents, the word is don't travel unless it's an absolute emergency. Toll roads still are in bad shape. Many other major routes and secondary roads are impassable. Down in the Joliet area, for example, U.S. Highway 45 and Illinois 102 and 54 are still closed down by 7-foot drifts. In that area, an elderly man trapped at his home after he'd amputated 3 fingers and a snowblower was rescued by a helicopter after a farm tractor, a snow plow, and a civil defense truck failed to get through to him. And also in Kankakee County, the U.S. Army Reserve equipment has been called out. Snow removal crews are working around the clock to clear the roads in northeastern Illinois, but they're facing an enormous task, complicated by hundreds of stalled cars and trucks. To aid in the massive snow removal task, extra equipment is being brought in from Wisconsin, where the storm didn't hit nearly as hard. To aid, about the only good news for the area is the fact that temperatures aren't dropping nearly as fast as the Weather Bureau predicted. But for thousands of suburbanites, the prospect for Saturday is plenty of exercise, digging out their cars and driveways. Harlan Drager, Chicago Daily News.
Well, it's just about over with. Although it isn't all over with completely, because as you just heard, the temperatures are still going down. The Weather Bureau tells me that bitterly cold weather is going to hit Chicago by dawn. They say the temperature is going to go down to about 10 degrees above zero before dawn. So it isn't really all over with. The Cutty Sark sign across the Chicago River over there says it's 22 degrees right now, and it's still sort of going down, so I don't know what's going to happen. In Springfield today, Governor Kerner met with some officials from the National Guard. He called out all the helicopters and some of their half trucks to come up to the Chicago area and see if they can't clear up this monumental mess. Mayor Daley met for a couple of hours today with his department heads to coordinate strategy to clear the streets of the snow and ice and whatnot. The snow fell continuously for 29 hours and 8 minutes, according to Weather Bureau. It was more than 23 inches deep. It's probably a lot deeper than that in front of your house if it's drifting at all. Actually, there are some places where the drifts are more than 15 feet deep. I talked to one reporter earlier who said he got home and it was 4.5 feet deep in front of his front door. In his backyard, the wind had sort of cleared it all away, so all he could see was grass. It's just sort of a weird situation. There were at least 29 people killed in the storm through various things or another. Most of these, of course, were victims of heart attacks, people who suffered heart attacks while shoveling snow in front of their walks. Everyone here has gone home. You turn around, the city room is just about empty. We only ran one edition after our first tonight, having a lot of trouble, of course. Circulation trucks just couldn't get to the newsstand, so if you don't have a paper, you have to go out and buy one, I suppose. The overall effect of this storm was just stupendous. For us in the newspaper business, it was frequently a question of trying to ferret out all the good news from the bad news, the good stuff from the bad stuff. It was just a race. Chicago, the nation's transportation center, was paralyzed. All the airports were closed today. They probably won't be open much before 4:30. I think that's what O'Hare said. Midway told us earlier they were going to be open about noon. The thing to do on that, of course, if you are planning to fly, and if you do have a reservation, call the airlines if you have a chance.